Hi, everyone. I'm going to begin the presentation. Thank you very much for dialing in. I'm going to quickly run through with everyone what collab 3.0 EMEA is all about, and then we will open up into questions at the end. Again, my name is April Fernando, and I'm one of the innovation directors for LumenLab, and I'm based out of Singapore at the MetLife Innovation Center. So collab is a program that we have put together at LumenLab. Now we're at our third iteration, and the whole purpose of this program is to engage with the startup community. Just quickly reading out, it's a first-of-a-kind matchmaking program for proven technology companies around the world that are looking to grow their business by addressing known problems faced by decision makers at MetLife. We're not a traditional accelerator program where we don't run through business model canvases, etc. It's all about essentially matchmaking your product to a problem statement you applied for and helping you navigate how to present your best proposal at the end of an 8-week virtual program. The benefits for the startup of this program is, A, it helps you sort of validate your company and your product by getting a Fortune 50 company as a customer. And secondly, the winner of this program gets a $100,000 contract. It's not equity that we take in. It's a pure, simple contract. So the startups don't have to give up any shares to us. The benefits for us is we see a great advantage participating and engaging with startups. It helps us as an organization drive culture change because it's a controlled POC over a short period of time. It de-risks us in terms of engaging with startups. And we find that a program like ours differentiates us against other corporations when it comes to engaging with startups and connecting with the ecosystem. Over the last 12 months, we've actually awarded quite a bit of contracts to 7 startups, actually, totaling $600,000 in contracts over two cohorts. So that shows that we have a lot of motivation to engage with startups, and we actually do award quite a bit of contracts. It's through a range of companies ranging from custom engagement to underwriting to companies throughout the world. Anything else you want to add to that? No? The timeline for the program is that we opened up applications on the 12th of March. Applications close on the 20th of April, so you have 2 weeks to submit your application. Between April 20th and the end of April, we go through interview processes with the final 20, and of that final 20, we choose 8 finalists to participate in the program. The program commences on the 14th of May, and then through 2 months of a virtual, let's say, engagement process, we end up with the demo day on the 11th of July. Actually, 12th of July. On the 11th, it's the summit that we hold in London that allows the 8 startups to engage with the insurance tech communities, VCs, government regulators, and senior MetLife leadership. The business challenges are, we have a total of 16 that have been highlighted by senior leadership and stakeholders in MetLife EMEA. You can see the full list and description of all the business challenges on the website. Just to run through them very briefly, the first category is product and pricing, where we look for solutions to help us in big data pricing models, flexible products, instant quotations, and sophisticated individual underwriting. In claims and payments, we're looking for solutions in integrated medical data, simplified premium payments, streamlined claims. For distribution, it's looking for digital sales solutions, looking for improved need analysis, and finally, personalized online advice platforms. In customer engagement, we're looking for enhanced customer loyalty and guiding customers through life events. And finally, in enterprise growth, we're looking for tools to help us in employee connections, refined reinsurance, and finally, state-of-the-art compliance. These are the judges, right? So now you see the judges who will be deciding the winners at our demo day in July. They're all very, very senior MetLife leadership, ranging from the Chief Innovation Officer, my boss, Zia, who's based out of Singapore, to the head of MetLife US and EMEA, and many other senior individuals. Much of the success of this program is also based on the champions, meaning the MetLife team that we assigned to work with you during the 8-week virtual program. They will help you fact-find, just navigate MetLife and help you come up with the best proposal at the demo day in July. This is just an example of the champions involved in our first collab with one of the startups called Shift, which has ranged from a lot of individuals and employees throughout the MetLife ecosystem. And Shift was one of the winning startups. This is just some words that were shared by previous winners. I'll just give you some time to read through them. Okay, guys, and that's it. I mean, it's a short presentation. You can apply for collab at collab.lumenlab.sg. I'll open it up to any questions right now. All you need to do is raise your hand on the WebEx platform so we know we can unmute you and allow you to ask your question. So go ahead. Anybody have any questions?
Please. Hi guys, how you doing? Yeah, thank you. Just a quick question. I was really curious about this collab, and I'm currently working in the distribution channel in the agency, building a new agency channel for MetLife in Poland. And one of my strong experience is about need-based analysis selling, and this is what I'm teaching here, and I'm training a new team to do. So I was thinking, first, let me clarify, is this to be part of the 8 finalists to actually come up with a solution, or to support the champions, just so that I am on the right page with you guys?
Okay, I'm not exactly, are you a MetLife employee, Jad?
Yes, I am.
Okay, so are you asking this question in reference to being a champion?
No, I'm actually, are you guys, is this an application for candidates to come up with a solution, or to assist and help and be part of it? This is my question, because...
So as far as champions are concerned, or MetLife employees are concerned, your participation will be as a champion, helping startups who apply for the program to navigate and help them come up with the best proposal they can to win at the collab demo day in July. So it's to help the startups understand the requirement better, understand the processes of MetLife, if they have any specific information or questions on data, on technology, on any kind of process and requirement, to help them craft the best possible proposal. So it's more of coming in the form of a mentor and an advisor from the perspective of MetLife as an organization.
Absolutely. This is what I thought. So is this what the application is about, for me to apply by April 20, or for this
no.
specific?
So Yes, correct. Okay, so for champion applications, it is also, the deadline is also April 20th. However, the application form for champions is
different. So don't worry, John, we'll get in touch with you right after this call, and we'll email you that information.
All right.
Perfect.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Jad.
Okay. We have a
Thank you, guys. Good luck. Have a good one.
Simon?
Hi, Simone. Yes, hi.
Hi.
I'm actually dialing in from London, and I am on the vendor side. My question is, if we already have a solution that works for other parts of the insurance business, let's say in commercial lines, but it would be easily repurposed to solve one of the challenges that MetLife has, but that we would potentially need to partner with one of our regular technology partners to deliver that solution, is that acceptable? I mean, we are a mature startup, but some of them are have been around in the industry a little bit longer in the States, working in the P&C market. But as I said, they also do certain life business, and I think that our solution, when paired with some of their solutions, could potentially come up with something that addresses a number of the issues that you guys have put forward. So I guess I'm just trying to understand if we are allowed to partner with companies that we already do business with in order to deliver that solution.
Yeah, I mean, Simone, it's very hard for me to answer that question on not knowing the specifics of the product and the companies. But, you know, as far as we're concerned, you know, if that company you're partnering with really adds value to us as an organization to help us better serve our customers, I definitely say go ahead and apply. You know, that's definitely not a criteria to disqualify you.
And do you think that though it would be better almost to set up sort of a smaller, like special purpose vehicle or a sort of hive off, like an independent piece of the business then to present the idea and talk through how it might work so that it actually does come through as one company?
I mean, I think it could be a bit too early to sort of go into that kind of specificity right now. However, you know, all I would say is I presume you guys are a technology provider, and
Yes.
That would be the core value in the application. And you know, if we see as sort of in terms of delivering us, you know, a MetLife product or solution through your platform with the aid of whichever partner you work with, I don't see that as a problem for us. It's again on the merits of the application that we can actually decide. But at this point, I wouldn't go into talking about specifics of how you would structure a company and stuff like that in the application.
Okay, perfect. So it's more just tell you what the solution is, and if
Correct.
we get to, then you figure out sort of how it's all going to be organized.
Exactly, and I think going through the specifics of structuring that solution would be something you would go through in the 8-week program, and that's part of discovery and the value of the 8-week virtual program.
Wonderful. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. We look forward to seeing your application. What's the name of the company?
It's Ghost Draft.
First Draft?
Ghost Draft. It's a CCM solution, but the technology has been used in other applications. We have an entity in Canada that automates civil litigation. We also have a practice management component that is also powered by the same software. And we're doing quite a bit in the P&C space, and I've just started making inroads into life. And some of the challenges that you guys have got out there are, in fact, there's about 3 or 4 that we think the solution could probably be tailored to. I'm assuming we'd only really get to apply for one, though.
Yes, you should. You can only apply for one application, and this goes one business challenge, and I share this with everyone. However, you could highlight in your application that there is enough, so that there's no restriction on how much wording you type, to highlight any other problem statements that you think you can also address, and it gives us a chance to sort of look at your company in a far bigger spectrum. Thanks, Simone. Next we have Parag.
Hi, if you can just, I've just messaged you the question. If you can just, I can't check.
Parag, I mean, detailed enough for us to understand quite clearly what you do. So, as much detail as you can to give us a good picture of what your solution is. That doesn't necessarily correlate to being a long description. It just means, as accurate as possible.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. Brendan, go ahead.
Yeah, this is Brendan. I have a couple of questions. One is just sort of an add-on question to what Simone was saying. Rather than if we don't have a partner that we could bid with to enhance our solution, would you do matching once you'd understand what each vendor could provide?
It's again sort of, I think that's quite subjective to the business challenge and the product itself. Again, I'm not going to say no because it's on the merit of your application and the value we see in it, or MetLife leadership who's seen it, that if they can judge that a partnership really makes sense, then they would definitely be open to looking at it. But it's something that I can't answer yes or no at this point. It's again on the merits of the product and the solution itself. However, I encourage you to apply because till we see the application and engage, then it's hard for us to give an answer to that question.
Understood. And I didn't see. Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so I think that's pretty clear. Thank you for that answer. The other question I had, and I didn't see this sort of listed anywhere, is there a qualification criteria for whether you're a startup or not? Are there some rules around that?
So the simple metrics we look at is, do you have a product that's ready to test? So, when we're looking for companies who have a ready product to deploy. Secondly, making sure you have enough runway, whether it's through existing revenue or fundraising, to make sure that you guys are around in the near future. Thirdly, the merits of the team, your background, etc. And finally, I think it's also if you are already servicing other financial services companies or sort of any other company that we can use as a sort of a litmus test of validity.
Okay, well that's good. I mean, I was just thinking, if sounds like once you have all of those criteria, really, are you still considered a startup? Was my concern, right? So we have all.
Yeah,
no worries there. But I just wanted to make sure that we're still within the criteria.
It's the word startup we use is a pretty broad definition.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, that's great. Thank you.
Yeah.
We've already have questions from both of them.
Simone, do you have any other questions? You still have your hand up.
I actually was going to add on to something that the person who just spoke referenced, which was, if the solution was something that would work with other systems existing within MetLife, whether MetLife would consider partnering. I guess part of that decision as to whether you partner with people that you know or you partner with MetLife would be based on the knowledge of who MetLife is currently using for certain systems. Like if you are technology that would need to connect with the policy administration system, claims system, and then is there any way for us to know who MetLife is using for that already so that we can make a decision if we need to partner or if we should just leave it to decide how we proceed?
In terms of connecting with those kind of platforms, I think we definitely realize that is sort of part and parcel of many startups. Secondly, us figuring out what platforms to connect and figuring out how easy it is to connect to them is something that we would evaluate post application. Yeah. But we definitely see that as definitely part and parcel of many products that would have to work with.
Okay, if we don't get in this year, is there any reason why we couldn't apply next year, particularly if the product is already further developed by then?
Absolutely. And we encourage, and we still encourage you to apply this time around, because then you guys are on our radar, and then we definitely come back to many of our previous collab applicants who didn't sort of make the cut. We go back to them again, and so definitely please apply.
All right, thank you very much.
Thanks. Parag, your hand's still up?
Question mark.
A question mark? What is that?
No, I'm actually logging in from a mobile, so I don't know how to switch off the hand. I didn't put my hand up, but thanks.
Anyone else? Any other questions?
Down here.
What stage? Okay, we got a question from Mario. What stage would the company need to be? Clearly have already corporate paying clients, but is it okay if the specific customer journey application needs to be built over the next 1 to 2 months? Am I correct in saying that this is the spirit of collab program to tailor the solution to the specific MetLife user case, but with a tech platform product that already exists? Mario, so if you already have a platform that needs to be, let's say, tailored to a business challenge to help us solve it, we still encourage you to apply, because we understand that certain products need to be, let's say, configured or altered to address our problem statement specifically. So we still encourage you to apply, because that gives us a good understanding of what you do, and help us evaluate whether there is something we can do in the short term during a POC. However, you also, by applying for the program, you get on the radar of LumenLab, that we also look for, it's also a way for us to look for startups to engage with outside the collab program. So again, please apply. Mario, I hope I answered your question. Any other questions?
No other questions at the moment.
Guys, I'm going to keep it open for any more questions for the next 2 minutes.
Just answer this directly. I think the quick answer is yes. I mean, it's okay. Like, please do apply.
Yeah, so again, Mario, just to answer specifically, is it okay for customers that needs to be built over 1 to 2 months? We say yes, it's okay. So please apply. Okay, guys, I think that's a wrap. No other questions from anyone? Thank you very much for participating today. I encourage people to apply early, so in the next week even, because the sooner you apply, the longer you guys are on our radar, and allows us to evaluate your application in more detail, and also allows us to come back to you guys with questions. So it's sort of slightly the MBA principle. The earlier you apply, the better chances you have of getting it.
Got it.
Thank you. Brendan, we hear a sound from your side. I hope there's applause.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
Another question from Mario.
Mario, okay, we have one more question. What happens to startups who don't win? Is it still possible to work POC with MetLife? It does definitely open the window or open the door for you guys to work with us in the future. It gives us, essentially a good understanding of what you guys do, and we definitely have worked with startups in the past who have applied for collab, but not through the collab program in any other sort of venture development work we do at LumenLab and MetLife Innovation. So please, that window is open. Okay, another question for Mario. How many startups can win, and what happens to those who don't? Is that still okay? So There is no, the minimum winner is 1. There is no maximum amount of winners. So for example, in the previous collab 2 that happened in Japan, we had 6 finalists, and there were 3 winners out of the 6. So 50% of the participants won contracts. So you're not essentially competing against each other. You're just competing against how good your presentation and your proposal is to that business challenge. So there is 1 guaranteed winner, but that, essentially more than 1 applicant can win, or finalist can win.
Collab 1.0, somebody who didn't win, actually won a POC contract.
Okay, so for example, I was just highlighting that in Collab 1.0, actually one of the finalists who actually didn't win Collab actually still got a contract with Japan. So Collab essentially puts you on a big stage in front of MetLife and really opens up your startup to us as an organization and gives you guys the best platform to work with us.
We have another question from Simone.
Simone, go ahead.
Oh, sorry, I typed it in because it wasn't all that important. I was just curious that, there's no real formal structure or word count or anything like that in terms of the submissions, but typically how long would you say are successful submissions? I mean, if you're the people having to review it, you've got to have a preference in terms of how much detailed information you'd like to have available.
Keep it pretty detailed. Don't go very technical on the application, just strong enough for us to get a good understanding of the solution. We're not going to go into the technical details of how the solution works, but in evaluating, we just want to understand that you guys can address the problem with your product and have a strong team and a company to back that.
Okay, great, thank you. That's it for me.
All righty. That's it?
That's it.
Okay, guys, any more questions? We'll keep it open for 1 minute. No? Is that a question?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, question from Mario again. Is the Collab 3.0 focused mostly in European MetLife user cases, or really is global and just a final day that happens to be hosted in London? So Collab 3.0 does focus on the EMEA, so it's Europe, Middle East, Africa region of MetLife, and the business challenges have been highlighted by that region. However, the startups that we engage with are global, and yes, the reason we chose London is it's a central location to sort of invite everyone for demo day. Okay, guys, thank you very much again for participating. Please, we look forward to reading your applications. If you guys do manage to submit it early, we'll very likely come back to you with any more questions and clarifications if we need to. If not, we look forward to having some of you in the final 20, we hope, and interviewing you guys more in person and more in detail after the 20th. Thank you very much. Oh, okay. We got a question from, Merrick?
No, but
Anton? Go ahead, Anton.
Hello, just wanted to thank you for the webinar. So no questions. Thank you for all the clarifications and answers.
You're welcome. Thanks a lot for participating. Is this Simone? Simone, your hand's still up. Any questions?
Oh, it's not meant to be. I sent a private message saying thank you very much for hosting this session. So apologies, it's not supposed to be up.
No worries. Thanks a lot. Okay, cool, guys. Thank you very much. That's it. Bye-bye.